Family, I want to thank you beyond words for being here. My name is Jason Cruz, and I'm the pastor here at Clearview. And I've been asked if you wouldn't mind at this time to make sure your phone is silenced, please, in honor of the family and this time of reflection and memorial. You know, I've been thinking all day about the words. Words in these times are really hard to come by. They really are. There are no words. But I've been thinking about a word to tell you how our church and our staff feels, and the only word I can come up with is honor. We are incredibly honored to be here with you, to be here for you. It's hard to do it justice how we feel as a church to be able to support you now, all of you. Often in times like this, it's really difficult to know what you can do for a family. It's really difficult to know what to say because there are no words. It's difficult to know what to try and what to attempt to show your love. But I want to leave you with this. The very fact that you are here, the very fact that the procession was miles long, the fact that thousands of people will be here, that is what the family will remember. They will remember that thin blue line is very wide, that it is wider than anything they even dreamed. Your presence here is the gift. It is what they will take away. And it is the presence of God, God showing up in real hands and real feet and real hugs and real tears. It is the presence of God showing up through you. That is what the family will remember. And that is what they will take away as grief goes on. It means the world to us that you're here. We love you, and we are behind you, and we're thankful to mourn with you in this moment. And we're honored to do it today.
Destin Scott Legieza, age 30, of Spring Hill, Tennessee, passed away June 18th, 2020, from injuries sustained in an automobile accident. Destin graduated from Franklin High School and received his bachelor's degree from Middle Tennessee State University. His career in law enforcement started in Athens, Georgia. Destin was hired by the Brentwood Police Department on February 16th, 2015. He graduated from the Tennessee Law Enforcement Transition Academy on March 19th, 2015. Destin was a dedicated officer and selected as a crime scene tech on March 16th, 2016. From there, he was selected as an FTO on October 11th, 2017. And recently, he was selected for CIT, but had not yet attended training due to his untimely passing. His accolades include being selected as Officer of the Year in 2016 from the Brentwood Morning Rotary Club. He received the Chief's Sheepdog Award for outstanding police work and cooperation among law enforcement agencies in 2017. Destin will be posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and the Medal of Valor. Destin had a true passion for sports, but his favorite was the Tennessee Titans, where he had been a fan since their inception and they came to Nashville. Destin was a true patriot and will be sadly missed by his brothers and sisters in law enforcement and certainly his family. Preceded to death by his grandparents, Joe and Lorraine Ray, survived by wife Heather, mother Julie Walls, father Scott Legieza, grandparents Jim and Joyce, brother Seth Legieza, stepbrothers B.J. Walls, Hunter Walls, and Ethan Walls, Aunt Jennifer Taylor, father and mother-in-law Dan and Annette Doslin, and brother-in-law Justin Dolson, and his beloved pet Titan, and certainly other loving family members. Will you pray with me? Oh God, Father, the last 6 days have been extremely difficult ones. Ones filled with hurt and pain, emptiness, anger, and disbelief. God, we are hurting. We trust you and believe that you are Lord of lords and King of kings, the name that is above every name. But God, we do not understand this. Father, I pray that you hold Heather close. God, that you're with the entire Legieza family, the Walls family, the Dolson family. God, all the friends and relatives. God, I pray that you hold the Brentwood Police Department close. God, renew our strength. Draw us close to you, Lord, as we celebrate the life of Destin. God, I do believe that you understand our pain, that you weep with us. Thank you for sharing Destin with us. It's in the name of Jesus that I pray. Amen.
It's perfect outside, it's like God let me dial up the weather. Got the whole crew here, I ain't seen some of them in forever. It's one of those never forget it, better stop and take it in kind of scenes. Everything's just right, yeah, except for one thing. You should be here, standing with your arm around me here, and cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. You should be here. You'd be taking way too many pictures on your phone, showing them off to everybody that you know back home, and even some you don't. Yeah, they say now you're in a better place, and I would be too if I could see your face. You should be here, standing with your arm around me here, and cutting up, cracking a cold beer, saying cheers. Hey y'all, it's sure been a good year. It's one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. Oh, you should be here, you'd be loving this, you'd be freaking out, you'd be smiling. Yeah, I know you'd be all about what's going on right here, right now. God, I wish somehow you could be here. Oh, you should be here. Yeah, this is one of those moments that's got your name written all over it. And you know that if I had just one wish, it'd be that you didn't have to miss this. Oh, you should be here. You should be here.
Destin was one of very few officers until today that knew that if he drove past my home on his shift late at night and the bathroom light was on, it meant that I had watched something that had totally wigged me out. And light was providing me comfort. Darkness can be extremely scary. It can make you feel alone, unsure, fearful, unsure of what is next, unsure of what is to come. But a single light can make a difference. 1 John 1 says this: "This is the message we have heard from him and announced to you, that God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. If we say that we have fellowship with him and yet walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice truth. But if we walk in the light, as he himself is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, cleanses us from all sin." Destin not only walked in the light, but he was a light to this world. You know, most people know Destin as a good friend, a great police officer, a good person. But this afternoon, I want to share who Destin was to those that knew him the best. Destin is a son loved by his mom and his dad. Julie wrote the following to her son. She says, "I cannot tell you how many times I have thanked God for blessing me with two great sons, Destin and Seth. I heard the name Destin during roll call in PE class in high school. I told myself that day that if I ever had a little boy, that was going to be his name, Destin. I remember where I was the first time that I felt Destin kick in the womb. It was on the back dock of the Kroger on Del Rio Pike, where I worked at the time. And I just smiled and said, 'This is so cool.' That little fetus made me vomit for almost 9 months. The day he was born was one of the happiest days of my life. And the day that he left us was certainly the worst. I took Destin out everywhere just to show him off. Destin was a sweet, shy mama's boy with beautiful blue eyes. His love of sports started when he and I got hooked on the Chicago Bulls. But when the Titans came to town, I realized I had created a monster. We had PSLs. We tailgated. Spending time with Destin at those games are some of my best memories. He was also a great son. He loved his mama. I never got a birthday card, Mother's Day card, or Valentine's Day card that he did not write out in his own words how much I meant to him. And I have to say that the greatest accomplishment that I've ever been given came from Destin. I wouldn't be the man I am today without you, Mom. He wrote this in almost every card that he gave me. Everyone here knows that Destin was such a blessing, and he is one of my greatest accomplishments. I take great pride in making him into the man that he is, and I am so very proud to be his mom. The only way that I can get through this, through the loss of my son, is to know that one day I will see him again. Scott wrote the following to his son. He says, "Finding any strength or just a microfiber of understanding has been so very hard, if not impossible. If I could trade places with you right now, have no doubt I would. Every day I ask and sometimes scream to God, why? I'm not sure if this question will or can ever be answered fully. Yet I pray that God will provide me and all those who loved you, my son, the answers to have some form of internal peace. Until that day comes, I thank God for blessing me and your mother, the ability to have, raise, and make some of life's most precious moments and memories with you, my son. I know as your father, I made my share of mistakes as you grew up. If I could have a redo, I would. There are so many things that I would have done differently. I would have chosen to spend more time with you, Destin. Even in our bad days, I loved you with all my heart. The day that you were born and introduced to this world was one of mine and your mother's happiest days. When I knew that you had been created, I was overwhelmed with emotions of pure excitement, joy, and happiness. You changed my life for the better, and some would even say that you saved my life. When you were just a small child, I very much enjoyed coaching your football team. All those high fives, hugs, celebrations were the absolute best and will continue to be cherished forever. The day that you became a police officer, I was so proud. As your father, I knew you would not just be good at protecting and serving, you would be great. I knew you would change the lives of many, which, make no mistake, you have. And you will continue impacting the lives of many for the better. To see you grow up and be so loved and respected by everyone makes me so proud of you, my son. I alone cannot take credit, as you had a great mother to help mold you into one of the most special human beings to ever live. Your memory, your kind and warm soul, your laughter, your smile, your legacy will never be forgotten. Scott found a Father's Day card that Destin wrote to him last year. And this is what it said. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you for all you have done for me over the years. I honestly say I would not be the man I am today without you. Through the good times and bad, thank you for shaping me into who I am today. I love you. Scott goes on to say, I know there will be a day when I will see you again, my son. Until that day, please know that I miss you, and rest assured I love you and forever will love you more than life. Tighten up. Destin was also a big brother to Seth. Seth, Destin talked about you all the time. He cared so much about you, and he was so thankful that he got to celebrate your 21st birthday with you. That was so important to him. I want you to hold his memory close. Cherish the good times that you've had. Hold those in your heart and know that your brother loved you very much. On September 24th, 2016, Destin married the love of his life, Heather. They met while working at Sonic, and it took many months and a little bit of a love-hate relationship as co-workers, but Heather eventually swept him off his feet. And it was while she was a freshman at the University of Tennessee, that Destin finally reached out and confessed the true feelings that he had for Heather. Destin worked so hard on the proposal for Heather. He went out and secretly he bought a treasure chest, a little treasure box. And he went out to the beach, which is one of Heather's favorite spots. And he buried this treasure chest just ever so slightly in the sand. And then he casually walked Heather towards the treasure, gently encouraging her along the way. But when it was obvious that she wasn't taking the hint, Destin exclaimed, "I wonder what this is." To which Heather responded, "Probably some kid's toy." To which then Destin had to get down on his hands and knees and dig the treasure chest up himself. But she said yes. That same treasure chest will now serve as one of Destin's final resting places. Destin loved music. He and Heather went to concert after concert. He was Heather's DJ. He loved to celebrate at the most random times in the house and in the car. Destin loved to travel so long as it included a sporting event. Heather and Destin traveled to Europe to watch the Titans play, and Destin, he would have been so content to go to the game and get back on a plane and come home. But thankfully, Heather had other plans. and they spent the next several days touring Europe. Destin loved the Titans. He drove a Titan truck. Their dog is named Titan. The Titans were special because it represented family, it represented Heather, it represented friends, and very, very special memories. Destin was pursuing his relationship with Christ. Destin was a light to this world. He touched lives and he made a difference wherever he was. He had a huge heart, not just for Heather, not just for his family, but all his brothers and sisters and all that he came in contact with. Heather shared a story with me about a time on duty where he stopped a man who was having car trouble, and the man needed a part, but he didn't have any money. So Destin took it upon himself to drive to the parts store, to go in, and to purchase this part that this man needed. Destin had $32 in cash in his pocket. It just so happened that the exact total amount for the part was $32. Destin didn't tell anybody. He bought that part, got it to the man, and the man made it to where he was going. Destin came home and he begged Heather's forgiveness for spending all the cash that he had. And of course, she forgave him. Heather, Destin loved you so much. On your wedding day, Destin wrote a letter to you. And you gave me permission to share what he said with you that day. So in Destin's own words, to my wife, there are so many things that I love about you. I love how independent you are and how honest you are, whether it's something that someone wants to hear or not. I still to this day don't know what I did to deserve such a smart, independent, confident, and funny woman like you. I love your relationship with your family. And I am beyond thankful for the relationship that I've gained with them and how much they've welcomed me into their family. I can honestly say that you are the best thing that ever happened to me. I could never imagine that I would have the honor of calling a woman like you my wife. I thank God every day that he brought you into my life and that you took a chance on a guy like me. I love you, babe. I don't want to take anything away from the grief that any of us are feeling today. I will not tell you that everything is okay, because it's not. And you know it. God made us so that we could have relationships with him and relationships with others. And when that relationship is taken away, it hurts. It's painful. But it's not hopeless. Painful, yes, but not hopeless. Some of you today are searching for answers. I want you to know that it's okay. It's natural to ask the question, why? Why did this happen? Some in here may want to blame yourselves. If that's normal. But don't do that. It's not healthy. There are some in here that may want to blame God. A very good friend of mine asked me, is it okay to be angry with God? My answer was simply, yes, it is. There are plenty of times in my life when I have been angry and upset and even told my mom and dad that I hate you. To which they responded, I love you. God can understand and even appreciate our anger. There's a story in the Bible where Mary and Martha, two sisters who are very good friends of Jesus, blamed God, blamed Jesus that their brother had died. They said, Lord, if you had been here, if you had only been here, our brother would not have died. I confess to you that I do not understand God's plans. In fact, not only do I not understand them, sometimes I totally disagree with them. But I do trust him. It is not wrong to question God. Some may wonder why God would even allow this to happen. And it's okay to have these types of questions. Jesus did not reject or even punish the two sisters that blamed him. No, Scripture tells us that Jesus wept. John 14, 1-6 records a conversation that Jesus was having with his disciples. And this is what he said. He said, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many rooms. And if it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and take you myself to where I am also. And you know the way that I'm going. To which Thomas, one of the disciples who was with Jesus at the time, looked at him and said, Lord, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? To which Jesus looked at him and said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the light. No one comes to the Father except through me. Comfort can be found in that passage. Peace is promised. Notice the words, let your heart not be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. We believe that even in the midst of storms, even in the valley of the shadow of death, there can be a peace that passes all understanding. He has prepared a place for us. This world is not our home. And while selfishly we want Destin here with us right now, there is a place that is waiting for us with no more hurt, no more tears, no more pain for all who believe in the resurrected Christ. A husband, a brother, a son, a best friend, fellow officer, a child of God is gone. But his light shines out of each and every one of you. And while there is nothing that will take away our longing for him to be right here, we can celebrate the life of Destin Scott Legieza and claim victory over death for all who believe in Jesus will be reunited with him in heaven.
Help me. It's like the walls are caving in. Sometimes I feel like giving up, but I just can't. It isn't in my blood. Laying on the bathroom floor, feeling nothing. I'm overwhelmed and insecure. Give me something I could take to ease my mind slowly. Just have a drink and you'll feel better. Just take her home and you'll feel better. Keep telling me that it gets better. Does it ever? Help me. It's like the walls are caving in. Sometimes I feel like giving up. No medicine is strong enough.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here with us today to celebrate the life of Destin Legieza. The video you just saw is intended to be used as a recruitment video, a tool for our department. If you look closely, Destin was one of the officers in the scene that simulated a traffic accident. The message that we're trying to convey to potential applicants is that our department's emphasis is on public service. We seek out applicants that possess a guardian mindset and those who have a servant heart. On February the 16th, 2015, Destin Legieza joined the Brentwood Police Department. And trust me when I tell you, Destin, he possessed every quality, characteristic, and trait that we were looking for in a Brentwood police officer. We're so blessed that Destin was part of our family, part of our agency, for just a little more than 5 years. I would like to ask Officer Scott Willie to join me on the stage now to share a personal message.
My name is Scott Willie, and Destin Legieza is my friend and my brother. An old man in Texas whom I love said to me about death that the young may, but the old must. King Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible said it another way by writing, "It is better to go to a house of mourning than it is to a house of feasting. For death is the destiny of every man, and the living ought to take it to heart." Right now, I can tell you that it certainly does not feel better to be in a house of mourning. In other words, a funeral. But I believe that God has something to say about the man he created and gave his life for while we are here honoring his memory. One thing that I noticed about Destin from the day we were hired together was how considerate he was. He was considerate of others. He was considerate of any circumstance that he was in. He was considerate, especially considerate of his own actions. And that last one was perhaps one of the most ironic characteristics of Destin, that he was always considering his own actions, and maybe to him it may have seemed like it was a lack of confidence or something like second guessing, but to those of us that served with him, we saw it as his strength because we had the utmost confidence in him. Destin was part of a brotherhood of a special kind of order, the order of warrior guardians who expend themselves for others, for those they serve and those they serve with. It is a high calling to be in law enforcement, ordained by God himself. Because what is asked of us in law enforcement is a matter of God's glory. That's why it is a high calling. God's glory, what God is like, was revealed to us when he became a man 2,000 years ago. He is a God who does sympathize with us as he himself underwent every temptation and every sorrow we face now. But yet he was found to be without sin. And in keeping with his glory, he willingly went to a Roman cross in order to die for my sins, for your sins, and for Destin's sins. With his dying breath on the cross, he said, "It is finished," meaning that the sin debt of the world was paid for by his work alone. He sacrificed himself for us, even though we don't deserve it. Let me tell you this. The world we live in today does not deserve the sacrifice of Destin Legieza. But that is why the order of law enforcement, this high calling, is like God's glory. Because we do not deserve the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. But God demonstrated his love for us, that while we were yet sinners, undeserving of his love, Jesus Christ died for us. It did not end there, just as it will not end for Destin in death. Jesus rose from the dead. He appeared to more than 500 people in a period of 40 days, proving his claims to be God and proving that he was able to pay the debt of our sins. Now he stands ready to forgive anyone that will turn from their sin and trust him with their lives. Destin's death was inevitable, just like all of our deaths are. I won't stand here and say with certainty why his death took place in this manner. I will say this: the enemy, Satan, has an agenda against anything that resembles God's glory. He wants to destroy it, to infiltrate and pervert it, to defund it, to disband it. He is an enemy to any that fear God and love what is right and is good. And even if his plan was to use the circumstances of Destin's death to rattle us or to take one of the best of us out, God clearly has used his death for something much more beautiful. To midnight shift, you did not become stronger or closer because of this grief that was brought upon you. This grief revealed your strength. It revealed your closeness. 1 Samuel 16:7 says, "For the Lord does not look at the things that man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." God saw that the source of your strength, the fountain of your closeness, was your love for one another. This is the bond that the enemy could not see, but God knew was present among you. This is the bond that he is now allowing our community to see, because that is what they need to see right now. Your strength, love for each other, is on full display to our community, to our state, and even to our nation. The enemy in the year 2020 is trying to convince the sheep we guard that the sheepdog is actually the wolf. But God is speaking a better word through Destin's death. The truth is being proclaimed that we protect the sheep because of love. Love is not a feeling. It is doing what is best for others, often regardless of our feelings. Right now, our nation needs to see the sacrificial, tear-stained, blood-soaked love of the thin blue line, because it reflects the sacrificial, tear-stained, blood-soaked love of Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Scott. Did you catch in the title of the video that we played, "In My Blood"? This is the first time that we've played that video publicly anywhere. We're still awaiting permission to use that song in this video. Destin came to us as a third-generation police officer. One's ability to express compassion and empathy to those we encounter in a time of need is not something that can be acquired through training or learned over a period of time. Simply stated, it was in Destin's blood. Now, if you would allow me to share with you a memory of Destin on a lighter note. And Tim, could you cue a photo that we have? I'm going to set the stage here, okay? Everybody see the monkey? Not many times do you make a traffic stop where the driver of the vehicle has a pet monkey. Most of you probably don't know, Destin was afraid of most animals. And we're going to play this clip, and I show you the still photo because it is dark and it's a little hard to see the monkey in the video, but look for it. And as they're at the back of the vehicle, Destin at one point is going to be searching through this passenger's purse. And watch what happens, okay? And then we're going to show it in slow motion after we show it in real time. Where's my police officer? Now I'd like to ask Destin's supervisor, Sergeant Zach Hartman, and two of Destin's best friends, Officer Brent Rousey and Officer Tim Finney, to join me to share their personal messages.
Good afternoon. So I didn't know that was going to be shown, but I was working that night, and we can text each other through our computers. And he sends me a message. He's like, "Please get down here. This lady has a monkey. Don't know what to do." And I was like, "Okay, buddy." I said, "I'm on my way." And so sure enough, he shows me that happens, and I'm like, "Wow, I don't know what to tell you to do. I'm going to let you handle that one." And as I'm walking away, I start laughing, and we all start laughing, and she's like, "What's so funny?" And Destin's like, "Well, we just usually don't encounter monkeys on the street." And I'm like, "Or ever." First off, on behalf of our shift, thank you all so much for your support, your honor, and your love that you've shown our partner. The procession that we had coming in, the outpouring of love and support that we have here, thank y'all so much. That guy was truly loved, and it's good to see it on this day. So what do you say? What is there left to say, to do? When you suffer a loss like this, everything seems insufficient and lacking. I've been through a range of emotions since that scene, from shock to denial, disbelief, anger, rage, and then extreme sadness. But most important of all the emotions that I have suffered since that day is joy. And I know that it might seem inappropriate to say that I have experienced joy, but for those of you that knew Destin, I think you would understand. This kid was full of joy and happiness. I think the only time he wasn't full of joy and happiness was after a Titans loss. And while we have lost him here in this mortal life, Destin has left me with a ton of memories that will last until we are reunited in eternity. Whether it was attending the Predators Western Conference final game, Game 3, the win over the Anaheim Ducks together, he was the first guy I thought of when I knew I had those tickets. I was like, man, that guy's got to go with me. To whether it was riding around Captain Colvin's old minivan on patrol, unmarked together, thinking we were the baddest, coolest cops you've ever seen that hit the Brentwood streets, to, you know, the first few times that we hung out together, Destin he didn't want to feel left out, so he'd text all of us and be like, "Hey guys, are y'all wearing shorts or jeans? I need to know." So a couple times we'd play a trick and tell him the opposite of what we were actually wearing. And he would always show up, "Man, I should have wore jeans. I knew it." Most of my best memories, I will say all my best memories of Destin are outside of work. And that's not to say that he didn't make an impact at work, because he obviously did. It just shows that our group, our bond, our brotherhood, it goes beyond the bounds of work. It didn't know the bounds of work. It permeated throughout our entire lives. You know, he just touched so many people, and he brought so much happiness that it's unbelievable. And maybe it's the pessimist in me, but I often wonder, you know, when you hear people, they're heaped words of praise and honor and all this stuff after they've passed, I always wonder, is that really true? Was that person really that good? I mean, because that seems a little crazy. I can promise you this. As I stand here today, everything that you have and you will hear about Destin Legieza is true. He was that good of an officer. He was that good of a partner. He was that good of a friend. He was that good of a son. And he was that good of a husband. He was that good of a dude. And that's the best way that I could sum this up, is Destin was just a good dude. To Scott and Julie, thank you for raising him the man that he was, because he was a hell of a man. And to Heather, thank you so much for sharing him with us and leaving us with a lifetime of memories. And to Destin, brother, we love you. We miss you. It won't be the same without you, but you'll be here with us. Every step, every memory, you'll be there. I love you, man.
So I want to thank everyone for being here today to help honor our hero, Destin Legieza. My name's Tim Finney, and Destin was my best friend. Me and Destin built a very special bond. In our line of work, these bonds are built very deep and very fast. We always have each other's backs, from trainings, traffic stops, searches, foot pursuits, vehicle pursuits, fights, and so many other incidents. We were always in it together. But Destin was so much more than a great officer. He was my best friend. I'm so lucky, I'm so thankful, and I'm so honored to be able to call him my best friend. Not very many people get to go to work every day with their best friend, but I did. Destin was a great man. He always did the right thing. He would also ask everyone a million questions on what he should do, but he always knew the right answer. He always knew. He was the most sincere, kind, genuine, devoted, loyal, selfless person I knew. He was great. And everyone who knew him saw his greatness. So Destin, Brent, and myself, we also had a very special bond. We jokingly referred to ourselves as the tripod. A couple of years ago, Destin and Brent were wanting to have a guys' night out, to go out on the town, and they were asking for me to take off work. I had already taken off a lot of days previously, so I was on the fence about putting in that time off request. So in true Destin fashion, he sends us a YouTube clip. YouTube clip comes from the 2004 teen romantic comedy, The Girl Next Door, because that's exactly what he would send. In this clip, there's two guys trying to convince the third to join them on an adventure. He says, "I really wouldn't ask this unless it was really important to me." You know what we are? We are a tripod. When you knock one of our legs out, do you know what happens? We all fall. So come on, baby. D-Baby loved to get hyped up, and he knew exactly how to hype us up. So how do you say no to that? How do you say no to Destin's smile? Destin's smile was infectious. He could smile at you, he could give you a little head nod with that smile, and you knew exactly what he was trying to say. It didn't matter the situation, you just knew what he was trying to communicate to you. And everyone who knows Destin, I'm sure, can picture that, and you knew exactly what I'm talking about. So of course I said yes. We had another one of our many adventures, and I have so many good memories of Destin. We've traveled across the country for Titans games together, traveled across the country to concerts together. We've gone to, I don't know how many concerts together here in Nashville. Super Bowl parties, drafts, the Titans uniform unveil, boat trips, birthdays, holidays, parties, dinners, and the list goes on and on and on. Destin brought so many good times and so much happiness into my life and the life of everyone that he touched. And that's one of the best things about Destin. He touched so many people. He has so many close friends. When I stand up here and I call him my best friend, I know that there are countless, probably hundreds of people that could stand here also and say Destin was my best friend. because he was everybody's friend, and he always wanted all of his friends all together all of the time. To my Brentwood family, every single one of you, thank you for everything you have done to honor and remember Destin. Thank you for everything you have done for Heather and Destin's family. To my Midnight Shift family, I love all of you. I've always had a lot of people tell me how they admire the bond that we have as a group, and how they've never seen a group or a shift as close as ours. I've never really known how to respond, but I always try to take a moment to appreciate what we all have. I think our shift is so special because it's full of such good people, and Destin was the very best one of us. He was such a good person. He loved each and every one of you, and he knows that you loved him too. Heather, there's so many things I want to say, but I don't even know how to put them into words. I'm just sorry. You and Destin were my family. He was my brother, and you were my sister. Your love for each other was so strong, and you both lived every single day to the fullest. Thank you for welcoming me and Kristen into your lives. You'll never know how much joy that you both have brought into our lives. We love you. We will always be there for you, just like Destin would want. And I just want to close with an old Irish quote. Death leaves a heartache that no one can heal. Love leaves a memory that no one can steal. Destin truly loved everyone, and every single one of us have memories that prove it. So Destin, I love you, man. I miss you, and rest easy, brother, until we can meet again.
First off, I want to thank you all for coming out and showing your love and support to my brother Destin. I can promise you right now that he's looking down with that big smile of his, and he's proud. My name is Brent Rousey, and Destin was not only my best friend, but he was my brother. Just to give you a little backstory on how Destin and our relationship formed. I came to Midnight Shift the first week of April of 2017. By the third week of April, Destin and I were inseparable. Destin told us a story one time about before he and I had officially hung out, that he told Heather that he didn't know me yet, but that he was going to make me his best friend. Fast forward to now, and best friends would be an understatement. I still remember our first date. Sorry. First time hanging out, my bad. April 21st, 2017, downtown on Broadway at Rippy's Bar and Grill. Me, Destin, Heather, and my wife, Emily, got together to watch the Predators play, and from that point on, we were bonded like glue. There was never a day from that point forward that Destin and I went without talking to each other. Destin and I were so close, it became a running joke where everyone would give him crap about us dressing alike. I mean, our trucks, same color. I mean, we were just bonded. I bought a pair of Tecovas ostrich boots, and Destin loved them and said he was gonna get some. I said, Destin, do not get the same color as me. But sure enough, that's exactly what he does. From then on out, every time we went out together, which was a lot, he would text me for outfit suggestions and ask what I was wearing and if I was wearing my boots. And it never failed. Every time I said yes, he said, come on, man, come on, let me wear the boots. It gets me in my zone. The ultimate hype man. And of course, I let him wear the boots. But brother, when I wear those boots, from here on out, I know you will be walking in them with me and enjoying the good times with me. Destin was the kind of guy I want my daughter to date, and the type of guy I want my son to be best friends with. He was seriously just a genuine and fun guy, and always wanted the best for people. And I'm so grateful for the relationship we formed that will live on for a lifetime. Heather, I love you so much, and he loved you more than anything in this world. You're my sister, and I promise that we will always take care of you and always be there for you. Julie and Scott, I love you as well, and I will always be there for y'all. BPD, I look out amongst the crowd and I see our BPD family, and that's truly what it is, a family. Thank you for allowing us the time to create such special relationships with the people we serve with outside of work. To our third shift family, Destin loved y'all and enjoyed coming to work with you all every day, and I want you all to know that we truly have something special on midnight shift. Our chief said it Thursday, and it rings true today. The thin blue line has no jurisdiction, and I think that is well represented here today by the love and support from all the agencies and officers that have never met Destin. What our thin blue line family has is special, and the bonds we create with the men and women we work alongside with every day should never be taken for granted. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, and I love you all. I'd like to end this in true Destin fashion. So on the count of 2, 8, 2, I want everyone to give me a tighten up. 2, 8, 2. Tighten up. I love you, D, baby.
Thanks, guys. Lots of outside law enforcement in here, chiefs, sheriffs. I've given you a little sample of what we got going on in the Brentwood Police Department. It is not acceptable to poach on any of these folks right here, okay? These are my guys. They don't need me. They can handle things well on their own, but I'm so proud of them. To our brothers and sisters in law enforcement, Brent said it. The brotherhood where we have has no jurisdictional boundaries and cannot be found in any other profession. Your presence here today exemplifies that. Undoubtedly, this is a difficult time for those in our profession, but the support and assistance that we've received from our neighboring agencies makes me and our staff so proud to serve alongside you. To our friends, citizens, and community, the outpouring of support you have shown us during this time has been nothing short of remarkable. You have touched our hearts, and we are forever grateful. To my Brentwood police personnel, this has been our darkest hour. Yet your strength, leadership, and love for one another continue to amaze me. I'm honored to be part of the Brentwood Police family, and I love each and every one of you. Heather, just as Destin was part of our family, so are you. I hope you will continue to accept us as part of yours. Destin's memory will live in our hearts forever. His service and sacrifice will never be forgotten, and his friendship and our eternal love for him will give us strength to carry on. We are so thankful to have 3 very special guests with us today who have graciously accepted our invitation to join us in honoring Destin's memory. One of the songs Heather requested for the ceremony was "I Drive Your Truck." And you've heard the story of his truck. He drives a Titan. Was there any doubt? So how appropriate that Mr. Lee Bryce is here with us to perform his song live.
never got to meet Destin. But it seems like I really would have liked to have known him. Heather, I'm honored to be here. 89 cents in the ashtray, half-empty bottle of Gatorade rolling in the floorboard. That dirty Braves cap on the dash, dog tags hanging from the rear, old skull cane and cowboy boots and a gold army shirt folded in the back. This thing burns gas like crazy, but that's alright. People got their ways of coping, and I got mine. I drive your truck, I roll every window down, and I burn up every back road in this town. I find a field, I tear it up till all the pain's a cloud of dust. Yeah, sometimes I drive your truck. Leave that radio play, same old country station where you left it. Yeah, man, I crank it up and you'd probably punch my arm right now if you saw this tear rolling down on my face. Yeah, man, I'm trying to be tough. Oh, but Mom asked me this morning if I'd been by your grave. That flag and stone ain't where I feel you anyway. I drive your truck, I roll every window down, and I burn up every back road in this town. I find a field, I tear it up until all the pain's a cloud of dust. Yeah, sometimes I drive your truck. Well, I've cussed, I prayed, I said goodbye, I shook my fist and I asked God why. But these days, when I'm missing you this much, I drive your truck, I roll every window down, and I burn up every back road in this town. I find a field, I tear it up until all the pain's a cloud of dust. Yeah, sometimes, brother, sometimes I drive your truck. Yeah, I drive your truck. I hope you don't mind. I know you don't mind. I drive your truck. Yeah.
So much. Really appreciate it. Well, it's been stated several times already. Destin's love for the Tennessee Titans is arguably unmatched by anyone, anywhere. I'm sure Destin is smiling down upon us as I ask this next speaker to join me on the stage, the voice of the Tennessee Titans, Mr. Mike Keith.
When the Tennessee Titans arrived here 20 plus years ago, our goal was to build a fan base from the ground up, a fan base for the long term. That meant we wanted to get youngsters immediately to jump on board and become Titans for life. In the case of Destin Legieza, we clearly succeeded. He started attending our games when we played at Vanderbilt. He was 9. And from the days of Steve and Eddie to today, Destin was with us every step of the way. He was a season ticket member at Nissan Stadium. He attended our Monday night football game in Dallas, our game in London, our playoff games in Baltimore and Kansas City. He attended watch parties, stood in line at Titans Caravan events. He would finish a shift at 6 a.m. and head straight over to St. Thomas Sports Park to catch the morning training camp practice. You've heard, his dog's name is Titan. He drove a Titan. His man cave is said to rank among the best of any Titans fan. Man, this guy, Destin Legieza, was exactly what we dreamed of in the late 1990s. Someone who would follow the Tennessee Titans with passion. But as we've heard, read, and seen things about Destin over the past few days, it's clear the Tennessee Titans were not the only thing that he was passionate about. He was passionate about his family and his friends. He was passionate about Williamson County. He was passionate about law enforcement, his fellow officers, and about being an outstanding police officer. He was passionate about serving people, about helping people. Clearly, Destin lived his life with passion, and that's what made him so special to so many people. He brought it every single day in every single thing that he did. To the family, friends, and to all of his colleagues who work each day to protect and serve all of us, the thoughts and prayers of the men and women of the Titans organization are with you. Oftentimes we hear from people that the Titans are their heroes, and we certainly understand and appreciate that. They are special people. But to us, Destin Legieza was a true hero. Not because he was a massive Titans fan, but because he lived a life of love, a life of service, and a life of passion. Those are the things that heroes are made of. We are proud that Destin's love of the Tennessee Titans is a part of his story important enough to be shared today. And I am honored that those who love him ask me to speak, specifically to end with 2 words that always brought a massive smile to Destin's face, that in a moment could bring out all the passion that defined him. Destin, they know you're here, and they sure did love you. So for you, from your team, the Tennessee Titans, from one Williamson County boy to another, touchdown, Titans!
Wow. Our final guest is a longtime friend and supporter of law enforcement. I think it's most appropriate that he play the song that he's going to perform live for us now. Would you please help me welcome a man that doesn't need any introduction at all, Mr. Vince Gill.
Good afternoon, everybody. My greatest fear today, I've been in gym shorts for 3 months, is that my suit wouldn't fit. I've been doing some serious social distancing, but pantry distancing, refrigerator distancing, that hadn't been going so good. I'm grateful that you want to hear this song. It's a simple song written from my perspective of watching my mother lose her son. It's that simple. I know your life on earth was troubled, and only you could know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You were no stranger to the rain. Go rest high on that mountain, 'cause some your work on earth is done. Go to heaven a shouting love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us, and gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. Go rest high on that mountain, 'cause son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven a shout love for the Father and the Son. You're safely home in the arms of Jesus. Eternal life our brothers found. The day will come, I know I'll see him in that sacred place, on that holy ground. Go rest high on that mountain, son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven a shouting love for the Father and the Son. Go to heaven a shouting love for the Father and the Son. God bless.
Will you bow with me? Oh God, it hurts. It hurts to say goodbye. But God, we are so grateful for sharing Destin with us. God, I pray for just us as people. God, help us to love. God, help us to never forget. God, I pray that you hold this day special in our hearts. God, I lay Heather at your feet. I lay the entire family at your feet. God, I pray for Brentwood. I pray for our police officers. God, I just pray that you will hold them close. Hey, God, we do rejoice that Destin is resting high on that mountain. But God, it just hurts not having him here. God, we love you. And we're grateful to have each other. And we are so grateful for your son, Jesus. And it's through him that we pray. Amen. In just a moment, the Brentwood Police Department will be asked to rise. And then shortly they will be dismissed along with their spouses and the entire Walls Legieza family, Destin's family. They will be dismissed to an honor ceremony outside. We request that everyone else remain seated. Stay in your place and watch on the screens as it'll be streamed in here live. Thank you very much.
Police Department personnel, please rise.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
First you both go out your way and the vibe is feeling stronger. What's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken. The love will never get lost. And when brotherhood come first, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we reach. So remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
rifle team. LT's hoops. Ready, move. Ready, hey, march. Ready, hey, march. Ready, hey, march. Rifle team and uniform officer. 3, 10, out. Order! Out!
At this time, we would invite all uniformed personnel sworn in that you would exit through the doors to my left or the doors to my right to prepare for the cordon. The rest of you, please feel free to remain where you are until the conclusion of the final services outside.
Attention all units. Clear the air except for emergency traffic. Dispatch 282. Dispatch 282. Dispatch 282, Officer Destin Legieza. Attention all units. 282, Officer Destin Legieza is 10-7 for the remainder. End of watch on Thursday, June 18th, 2020. Officer Legieza, we honor you for your ultimate sacrifice. We thank you for your dedication, loyalty, and service to the citizens of Brentwood, the state of Tennessee, and the United States of America. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. God, we ask that you welcome this fallen hero into your open arms. 282, rest in peace.
again in between all the color guards.